Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan, Japanese language, and Japanese culture. In this series of Japanese lessons for beginners, we have arrived at lesson 65 today, and the topic for today is what is your hobby? Friends, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so quickly so that whenever we upload a new video, you get notification of the new video uploaded. The URL of this channel is youtube.com/@saraljapani. That is SARALJAPANI. Recently, there has been many new subscribers added in this channel, and I thank each one of you for being part of this journey with me. And as a suggestion, I would advise all new members to go through the lessons in the same order as presented in the playlist so that you learn the language systematically and in the best way possible. For all previous videos of all the previous 64 lessons posted so far, please visit the playlists section of this channel and click on this playlist Japanese lessons for beginners, and there you will find all the 64 videos including the 65th video as well. So let's begin today's lesson 65. What is your hobby? Friends, you might have noticed that in the beginning of almost every new lesson, we do some quick recap of previous topics that are relevant in some way, in some aspect, to the lesson being taught in the current video. This approach not only sets the context for the current lesson, but also helps the learner to brush up previously learned concepts. So some of the previously learned concepts, if not all, so as to remember them in a better way. So in today's lesson also, we begin with a quick recap of some topics related to self-introduction. And this is because today's topic is what is your hobby? That is, we talk about our hobbies, and hobbies is also related to one's self-introduction. So let's see what all we have studied so far as part of self-introduction. In lesson 25, we first introduced the concept of self-introduction, in which we discussed about the various Japanese etiquettes, then how we tell our name and our nationality. Then in lesson 27, we talked about occupation. Go shokugyo wa nan desu ka? That means what is your occupation? And we presented answer to this question, and we discussed about various occupations in Japanese. In lesson 30, we talked about dochira kara desu ka? That is, what is your country, or which country you belong to, or where are you from? So that is again part of self-introduction. In lesson 39, we talked about specialization, go senmon wa nan desu ka? And we talked about how this is different from the occupation. And we talked about several specializations in Japanese. So shokugyo means occupation and senmon means specialization. So we discussed this in detail in lesson 39. Then in lesson 44, we talked about age, how to tell the age of a person and how to ask about the age. Nansai desu ka? And also there is a polite version of this, oikutsu desu ka? Then in lesson 64, which was the last lesson, that is uh, the last lesson that we had in this series, in which we talked about birthday and date of birth. Tanjobi wa itsu desu ka? And seinen gappi wa nan desu ka? So all these lessons are in some way related to self-introduction. And today we are continuing with yet another introductory concept or topic, which is hobbies. So links to all these lessons, pre-explained lessons 25, 27, 30, 39, 44, 64. We have added the links to these videos in the description section of this current video of lesson 65 so that you have all of them at one place. So now let's begin with today's topic, hobbies. The word hobby or pastime activity or leisure time activity is called shumi in Japanese. Shumi. So shu is written as this. This is she and this is the smaller version of you. So this is shu and this is me. Shumi. So if we want to ask what is your hobby, then we would say shumi wa nan desu ka? So nan desu ka you already know means what is it, and shumi wa nan desu ka means what is your hobby. Shumi wa nan desu ka? And this is a casual form of asking someone about his hobby. Then what will be the polite form? Go shumi wa nan desu ka? So in a previous lesson, in fact in several lessons, like the lesson of occupation and specialization, we talked about this honorific prefix go, which is used to give respect to the person whom we are asking this question. So if we just ask Shumiwa Nandeska, then it sounds little rude or impolite. So we add o or go. And in this case, go is more appropriate. So go shokugyo wa nan desu ka? Go senmon wa nan desu ka? And similarly, here we have go shumi wa nan desu ka? Meaning is the same, but it's just a polite form of asking the same question. And then we have yet another form which is very, very casual and which is used only with the very near and dear ones or very close friends or within the family, and in fact even within the family towards only the younger lots. So Shumiwa Nani. Shumiwa Nani is a short way, a short form of asking the question, what is your hobby? Shumiwa Nani. Again, the difference between nan and nani we discussed in a previous lesson. So you can always go back to the playlist and find in which lesson we discussed about when to use nan and when to use nani. I won't repeat here because that is again a different topic altogether. So you can learn from that particular video. So we have shumi wa nan desu ka, go shumi wa nan desu ka, and shumi wa nani. So these are the three ways of asking about the hobby of a person. So next, let us see now how do we answer this question. So now here is a short discussion or conversation between Mr. Honda and Mr. Tanaka. So let's see what they are talking about. Honda-san says, Tanaka-san no shumi wa nan desu ka? So Tanaka-san no shumi. You already know that no is used as a particle to imply possession. So Tanaka-san no shumi means Tanaka-san's hobby. Tanaka-san's hobby, what is it? That means what is the hobby of Mr. Tanaka? So this is the literal translation of this sentence. Tanaka-san no shumi wa nan desu ka? This is the word by word or the literal translation of this Japanese sentence. But if we talk about the meaning, then the meaning of this sentence or this question is, Mr. Tanaka, what is your hobby? Or what is your hobby, Mr. Tanaka? So you can see the difference. What is the hobby of Mr. Tanaka is the literal translation, but the actual meaning is what is your hobby, Mr. Tanaka? So this structure of the sentence differs from language to language. So if we just translate word by word, then that may not give the accurate meaning in the other language. Here, the Japanese language, if we translate directly to English, then the meaning somewhat changes. So this is the correct meaning. What is your hobby, Mr. Tanaka? Or Mr. Tanaka, what is your hobby? Tanaka-san no shumi wa nan desu ka? Or Honda-san may also have said, go shumi wa nan desu ka? In that case, we wouldn't have known whom he is asking the question, but still, if they are standing face to face, Honda-san could have asked Go shumi wa nan desu ka? Now let's see what Tanaka-san replies. Tanaka-san says, Watashi no shumi wa suiei desu. Watashi no shumi. Watashi no means my. Shumi is hobby. My hobby is suiei. Now suiei means swimming. So my hobby is swimming. And there is another way, swimming is my hobby. So if Tanaka-san says swimming is my hobby, then just see the words just get interchanged. Suiei wa shumi no, suiei wa watashi no shumi desu. Suiei wa watashi no shumi desu. So just look at how the particles interchange or change their positions. So here shumi wa suiei desu. Here suiei wa watashi no shumi desu. So just try to understand how the particle wa is used in a sentence. So wa is always followed is the wa particle follows the subject of the sentence or the topic of the sentence. So in this sentence sui is the topic, whereas in the previous one it is watashi no shumi is the topic. Watashi no shumi is the topic, that's why it is written after this phrase watashi no shumi wa. But here in the second sentence suiei is the topic, so suiei wa watashi no shumi desu. I hope this is clear, because this we have discussed multiple times when we discussed wa, and also when we discussed the difference between wa and ga in a recently concluded lesson. So now let's look at different types of hobbies in Japanese. So to recap, go shumi wa nan desu ka is the question, that is what is your hobby, and the answer will be in this format. Watashi no shumi wa, here there will be noun which will be the name of the hobby, followed by des. Shumi wa noun des. So that is hobby is so and so. So now let's look at some important hobbies. Swimming, as I mentioned, suiei. Tennis. Now for tennis, there is no specific Japanese word and they have adapted the English word. So it's tennis, and that's why it is written in katakana. So suiei is written in hiragana. There is always a kanji as well, but to keep it simple, we have written in hiragana. Tennis or tennis, it is written in katakana. And here, mind the pronunciation, it is not tenisu. It is not tenisu, it is tennis only. So when the word ends with u, then we very lightly we say u, that is tennis, tennis, tennis. It's not tennis, and also it's not tenisu. It's somewhere in between. Tennis, tennis. Next is karate. In Japanese we call it karate. Karate, again there is a kanji, but here we use hiragana to keep it simple. Karate. Then golf, gorufu. Gorufu, again this is katakana because of the English word, gorufu. Fishing is tsuri. Tsuri is again a Japanese word, so can be written in hiragana. There is a kanji as well. Dance, dance, dance is my hobby. That is watashi no shumi wa dansu desu. Watashi no shumi wa suiei desu. Watashi no shumi wa tenisu desu. Watashi no shumi wa karate desu. Gorufu desu. Tsuri desu. Watashi no shumi wa dansu desu. Next is hiking. 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 Again, this is the English word. It has been taken from the same English word hiking. So hiking. Mountaineering. Yama nobori. Yama, you can see this is the kanji of the mountain. Nobori means mountaineering, climbing the mountain. Cooking is reori. Reori is cooking. This is a very, very popular hobby. Reori. Reading is dokusho. Dokusho is reading. Music is ongaku. Ongaku is music. Cycling is again the English word cycling. Cycling. So since there is no la sound in Japanese, so it is replaced with r. So saikurin. Now you might be wondering, friends, that for a single hobby, this is okay to write watashi no shumi wa so and so desu. Watashi no shumi wa cycling desu. Oka-san no shumi wa ongaku desu. Oba-san no shumi wa dokusho desu. Or tomodachi no shumi wa ryori desu. But what if there are multiple hobbies? It is it is quite possible and it's quite often that we have multiple hobbies. So how to formulate the sentence by incorporating multiple hobbies? So for example, if I want to say my hobbies are swimming and singing, then how to address this and in a Japanese sentence? And for this purpose, the particle for and needs to be used. And these particles are ya and to. So just like wa and ga particles, ya and to also have their own specific usages. So we already know that wa and ga creates lots of confusion, and we get often confused when to use wa and when to use ga. Same goes with ya and to, and these two particles also create a lot of confusion about their usage as and. So this needs to be discussed all together in a independent lesson, and that's why we have decided to take this up in our next lesson, which is lesson 66. So in the next lesson we will talk about the particle for and, which are ya and to, and look at the difference between the two and which one to be used in which context. And in that way we will also be able to translate this sentence of multiple hobbies. My hobbies are swimming and singing, and so on. So friends, that's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed today's lesson and have understood the lesson quite well. And I have tried from my side to keep it as simple and clear as possible, so that as a beginner, you don't get overwhelmed with too much of information. So that's all for today. So I once again request you to subscribe to this channel if not already done, and we will see you soon in the next video. Till then, arigato gozaimasu. Mata imashou.